For almost our entire history, we were insignificant. For millions of years, our ancestors were just another animal on the savanna, leaving no more of a mark on the planet than a gorilla or a firefly. But then, in what's really just a blink of geological time, something happened. And that change, it was absolutely massive. We went from being somewhere in the middle of the food chain to the undisputed masters of the entire planet. So how did we pull it off? What was our secret? Well, drawing from the work of Yuval Noah Harari, that's the exact question we're about to unpack.
Okay, so to really get our incredible rise, we have to start at our very humble beginnings. Forget being at the top of the food chain. For most of our history, we were stuck somewhere in the middle, gathering plants, scavenging leftovers, and, just trying not to get eaten by some saber-toothed cat.
Now, you'd think we must have had some kind of physical edge, a bigger brain, maybe a stronger body, but get this, the exact opposite was true. Our cousins, the Neanderthals, were way more muscular, much better suited for the cold, and, here's the kicker, they actually had bigger brains than us on average. So if it wasn't brawn, and it wasn't individual brain size, what on earth was it?
And on top of that, we weren't alone. For most of human history, several different human species were walking the Earth at the very same time. The fact that we're the only ones left standing, that's actually the weird part of the story. Our survival was never a sure thing. We were just one of the pack. But then, around 70,000 years ago, something just clicked. Our bodies didn't really change, but our minds went through this radical transformation. This was the real turning point. This was the moment we started our climb to the top. We call this moment the cognitive revolution. The leading theory is that some random genetic oopsie basically rewired the sapiens' brain. It wasn't about the size of the brain, it was about its organization. This new wiring gave us a totally new kind of language, and with it, a brand new way to see and to shape our world. But hold on a minute, lots of animals have language, right? A monkey can shout, "Watch out, lion," and the whole troop scatters. So what was the big deal about our language? What made it a world-conquering tool while other humans, well, they just faded away? The answer lies in our unique superpower. And it's not physical strength or lightning speed. It's a mental skill that, as far as we know, no other species on Earth has ever had.
And here it is, the secret sauce. Our superpower is the ability to talk about things that don't actually exist. It's the power to make stuff up. Seriously, the ability to create and believe in fictions, in these shared stories, to talk about things you just can't see, touch, or smell. Okay, look at this. It breaks it down perfectly. Any animal can talk about objective reality. Hey, there's a lion over by the river. Simple. But only sapiens can create an imagined reality. The lion is the guardian spirit of our tribe. This ability to talk about myths and gods and shared values, this is what changed the entire game. Okay, so why is this whole fiction thing such a game changer? Well, think about it. Researchers say that the natural limit for a human group built on just personal trust and gossip is around 150 people. That's the famous Dunbar number. Go beyond that, and you just can't know everyone well enough to keep things together. To get thousands, let alone millions of people to cooperate, you need something much, much bigger than gossip. And that really is the million-dollar question for building any big society, right? How in the world do you get thousands or millions of complete strangers to trust each other and work towards a common goal? You can't know them all personally, so how do you do it? The answer is, you get them all to believe in the same story. You unite them under a shared myth, an imagined reality that only exists in your collective minds. This is the invisible glue that holds together everything from ancient tribes to modern nations to giant corporations. I know this might sound a little out there, so let's bring it back to Earth with a modern example Harari uses, a corporation. Let's take the car company Peugeot. What is Peugeot? I mean, you can't touch it. It's not the cars themselves. It's not the factories. It's not even the people who work there. Peugeot is what lawyers call a legal fiction. It's literally a story that we all agree to treat as if it's real. It exists purely because millions of us buy into the idea that this non-physical thing can own property, sign contracts, and even go to court. And the way it's created, it really does sound like a magic trick. A lawyer who's kind of like a modern sorcerer writes down the correct spells on a piece of paper. They perform the sacred rituals, signing and filing the documents. And then, poof, a new reality, the company, is born. And as long as we all keep believing in the story, it has immense real-world power. This table really nails the difference. On one side, you've got objective reality, things like rivers, trees, and gravity. They exist whether we believe in them or not. But on the other side, you've got imagined reality, incredibly powerful forces like nations, money, and human rights that exist only because we collectively believe they do. This whole layer of reality is our species' unique invention. Now, this superpower of mass cooperation, it had enormous consequences. It allowed us to completely reshape our relationship with the planet. But, as you might have guessed, this incredible new power, it came with a dark side. You see, it was the superpower that actually allowed the agricultural revolution to happen in the first place. Think about the crazy amount of cooperation you'd need to settle down, farm land, and build cities. It all depended on these shared stories about property, laws, and the future. But this massive shift, it wasn't the paradise we might imagine. In fact, Harari goes so far as to call the agricultural revolution history's biggest fraud. A fraud. I mean, how could that possibly be? Isn't farming the foundation of, everything? Well, because for the average person, it was a pretty rotten deal. Sure, it allowed our population to explode, but the quality of life for the individual just plummeted. Farmers worked way harder, their diets got worse, and they were much more vulnerable to disease and famine than their forager ancestors ever were. All right, so let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway? Our secret to dominating the planet wasn't bigger muscles or being smarter as individuals. Our unique edge was our mind-blowing ability to cooperate flexibly in huge numbers. And that cooperation is powered by fiction, by the shared stories we all create and believe in together. These imagined realities, from tribal spirits to corporate law, are the most powerful force on Earth. And that leaves us with a really deep thought, doesn't it? We are the only animals on this planet who can literally change our reality just by changing the stories we tell. We aren't locked into our biology. So, as we look to the future, we have to remember that the most important question isn't just about technology or politics. It's about narrative. Our entire world is built on stories, so the only real question is, what story are we going to write next?